Yeah, I'm going to give you something that a little political video here for you concerning South Africa. Oh, this is going to be hot for a lot of people involved in this. And who was not involved in this? Everybody was involved in it. But this is concerning South Africa. I want to start with the Google, with artificial intelligence, with Sergei Mihailovich is the first place where I'm going to start. I said Sergei Mihailovich Brin, a Google founder. That's basically Vladimir Putin, his boy. South Africa was involved in genocide against me since I was a child. Were assisted heavily by the Russians, by the Chinese, but really by nobody more than Russians. Slovenes, Serbs, this used to be Yugoslavia before. What most of you have no idea, what I understand, SIA was not even getting through entirely, was that South African blacks, and I hate to regard them like this, I don't like to regard them like this. It wasn't for the people, it was for the animals. It was not for the people. They started purge. They started cleansing of the whites. Way before apartheid, white apartheid ended. White apartheid did not have no fucking idea about the stuff that went on inside of the South Africa at all. They had no clue. Russians were using me for the operations together with the Chinese in South Africa to overthrow the apartheid. Already since 70s. I was born on December 9, 1971. Through Josip Broz Tito, they already carefully crafted through what used to be also Rhodesia, Namibia, South Africa, a completely new map, completely new landscape of military operations. They were using me to test all kinds of locations throughout the South Africa. The entire plan to overthrow apartheid was literally designed by the Russians. It was totally Russian, Chinese operation, which of course involved also cleansing. And to my surprise, as a child as I was used by these animals throughout the South Africa, were delivered by the Serbs, Slovenes. The white side had a very limited idea about the stuff that went on. I was heavily concerned about the white side, because when it comes to the black side, the only intention they had was basically to kill me. They did not have any kind of humane intentions. These people have no humane intentions whatsoever. They needed somebody who's going to make a lot of noise, anger, screaming, calling people to revolt, and this way basically create a profile, the landscape map of political currents, people, basically profiling people on whom they could use, whom not, whom they had to destroy, what location was strategically important for them. The areas they wanted to control in case of the Civil War. And the whites did too. But I can say that Russians gave very, very extremely limited. Slovenes, Milan Kučan, Golob, the people whom you have hosted throughout the South Africa, the Slovenian communists, they were laughing at white South Africans, openly supporting blacks, misusing me heavily, and were wrongfully signaling, wrongfully giving the information to the whites about what's going on. And oftentimes, without any knowledge, engaged practically in a war against apartheid, without absolutely any knowledge of the whites about what went on. Let me demonstrate you something. The question is whether there is in South Africa, where is a genocide or not in South Africa. I was a child, I was a baby when I was injected in MK Ultra. So what the fuck you think? I'm not from South Africa, I am from Slovenia. Both sides of my family engaged in a partisan movement. They were members of the Communist Party. From Slovenia, I had absolutely no affiliation as far as national history that would concern any kind of colonialism in Africa or anywhere else. So what the fuck you think? Is there white genocide or is there not white genocide? Google claims there's no such thing. This is a conspiracy theory. It's just crazy. Crazy. What are you talking about? Right? Claims of the white genocide, systematic racial motivation, elimination of the whites, widely dismissed as a myth. It's a myth. It's a myth. I will never forget Stefanic. I don't feel like regarding garbage as a police officer from the local, yeah, this is a Slovenian police station, who claimed that MK Ultra is a telepathy. I will not forget about that stuff. And, well, the white genocide, that's just a myth. What the fuck is that white genocide anyways? Huh? That's a joke. Slovenes affiliated themselves with the entire South African communist movement. They had communist professors at universities, whites. Literally, they had a white communists, extremists. At universities, moreover, they completely affiliated themselves, just as was something they had to do. I'm gonna scroll down. They affiliated themselves. It's about the Slovenian police here. Heavily affiliated themselves. They were doing nothing other than Russians. Ruski business. So this is heavily disputed, the stuff that I'm talking to you about in this video. This here you're never going to dispute this here, because it's millions of proofs about my being black slave throughout the South Africa, just like there is millions of proofs about my being a Jew slave in South Africa, in area of the Israel, throughout the Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, throughout the Saudi Arabia, Egypt, entire area, Jordan, entire area of Israel. I was used to hire, literally, false flag people operation for the sake of the Israel. Hired, basically, Mossad. Recruit dissidents create dissidents within the Syria, within the Palestine, Lebanon, everywhere in the area of the Israel. The same thing went on with South Africa. It was assistance, it was a Russian assistance. Although I was extremely strong, because no matter what they were doing with me, I continued to champion for the West. I continued to champion for the whites. I would not accept absolutely anything that Slovenes had to offer. I rejected Serbs. I rejected the Russians. I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. I completely aligned myself to the people who, however, left me behind dead. As good as that. Afrikaners, white Americans, British, Germans. I will tell you, I am in this business when it comes to South Africa for well over 50 years already. So what's going on here with this South Africa? This is very easily to dispute, this thing here. It's extremely easy to dispute this stuff. Extremely easy. This is fucking stupid. Blatantly idiotic claim that there is no white genocide in South Africa. That is stupid. That is idiotic. And frankly, I'm glad that South Africans, white South Africans, that you got fucked by the people whom you have supported against me. You're the one who fucked me with the Jews. You went on to support Jewry. When I opened the cause, Washington marching against genocide of whites in South Africa, that was a Facebook. Many of you aligned yourself with the Jews, with the Jewry. Why did you fuck believe that they're going to help you out, they're going to save you? They have one plan for you, and that plan is to exterminate you. And this plan is indifferent from others I will be talking to you about in this video, including the president you have inside of the Washington, D.C. He mentioned white genocide in South Africa, but did nothing other than throw bombs on Iran. All the military assistance that should have been allocated to you for the sake of your own statehood was thrown away in a form of bombs for the sake of the Israel, for the sake of some shit that has nothing to do with the reality. To conquer Iran is actually impossible without the nuclear war. You're never going to get any kind of control of the oil in the Middle East and that kind of stuff. What's going to happen is, most likely, there might be a nuclear war with Israel. Israel is not the only country in the Middle East that has nuclear bombs. They're more than willing to use one, but the countries in the Middle East and in the area are also more than willing to use them, even at their own expense. The situation got heated. Some crazy stuff started to take place in 2025. Like we have never seen any of that stuff. It's like a one-way direction that many countries have taken in the Middle East. It's like a point of no return. It's about something like those American tanks that started to roam from United States of America to Europe in support of Ukraine. It's fucking crazy because you started something that's going to end up with double costs for the fossil fuels. Gasoline, diesel. And it did no fucking good. What it did was it destroyed American taxpayers' money. It was diverted where it was the most needed to where it was needed the least. Ukraine needed those bombs, missiles, air support. White South Africans needed that to save their lives. Yeah, this is why this video, you're saying, whatever. Yeah, go ahead, make my day. This is a very serious question, South African question. Extremely serious question. I write here, I talk about Bill Clinton, I talk Barack Obama, I talk about the American violence, direct black American violence engaged in a war in South Africa. And I did spoke about white apartheid. White apartheid is extremely negative. The stuff that you see on the internet about the apartheid, I personally don't like the idea about the apartheid. I don't like it. I think it's fucking sick. I don't like no fucking apartheid. I don't like no Nazism. I don't like no Nazi shit. But the Nazi shit can also be black. And black it was for me since I was born. Since the day I was born. Since the day I was born. I'm going to scroll down. You're going to have plenty of time to read this. So do I actually have a proof, like something easy, that I can dispute the claim? Yes, I can. It's not a very difficult thing to do. Directly, I can actually prove that there is such thing like white genocide in South Africa. What is marked in a yellow is the area with the highest concentration of the whites and people of a mixed color. Colorates mixed with whites. Yellow is where you have a high concentration of the whites. But this used to be. I was told, hey, it ain't no more like that. Hey, yeah, that damn right, it's not. You're right about that. It's really not. You're damn right about that. It's not. It's not. But that doesn't mean that South Africa as a country was not built by the whites entirely. 100%, this is the country that was based on European civilization, on European knowledge, on European science, technology, everything. That's undisputable. And it would have been fucking crazy if the Europeans would throw it away. It's like this. All you gotta do is you gotta look at what the racial ethnic composition of South Africa is. And then you scroll down like this. That's all you gotta do. It's this easy. And they say there is a colorates about 9%. And they say there is whites only 7.3%. So that's like a big disappearance of the whites. Huge. What makes things even better, but what blacks don't want to talk about, is the increase of the population in South Africa. And that's exactly where the genocide is hiding. Look, there is already Indians, almost half as many, maybe even more, as is whites. And Indians did not build South Africa. They did not build no South Africa. And so, thanks, I'm going to say to the whites, you're so fucking kind. and you are throwing away your own statehood to countries and to the people that have nothing to do with it. I'm fucking impressed with this. You're generous. You're extremely generous. And you support the people, the Jews at large, the people who exterminate you in the United States of America. These are the people who empower blacks in the United States of America. They did not liberate them. They did not liberate them from the slavery or change things for better for anybody in the United States of America, but they sure took control through the capital, through the money. And you have one sitting inside of the White House. As a matter of fact, he's got a Russian wife. Her name is Melania Trump. That's what I refer to as the Russians, or as the Alpine Serbs. What exactly is the share of a Russian problem in South Africa? It's enormous. I already explained to you here about what the share is. It's enormous. Did Russia help South Africa during the apartheid? I thought that apartheid also was a South Africa, but I guess I'm wrong. Yes. Russia, as a part of former Soviet Union, provided extensive financial, military, and diplomatic support to the African National Congress, ANC, and other liberation movements fighting against the apartheid movement. ANC, these are nice guys that sing those songs like Kill White Tea. You know, that beautiful stuff, Kill the Whitey stuff. Funny shit. Booba, 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 booba. Kill the Whitey, South African song. Lee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, bam, 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 bee-dee-bee. You know what? You're going to be doing this shit yourself if you like that. You go and you watch, and you have fun, and you're going to, you know? Just so that you know, every South African president, minister, 10,000 of you blacks who were involved in this genocide against me. I remember who the fuck you are. For every one of you. This isn't about Malema only. Cyril Ramaphosa, who posed together with the British King Charles, lastly, in front of me in 2018, 19, 20. He humiliated me over there in Britain. That was just fucking awesome. He humiliated me so many times in front of South African people. The South African people really got fucked. Because of these British royals, you really fucked them good. Because as long as you have palaces and cars and money and you get your share, you're a wise guy. You're a wise people. As long as you don't have to go through anything, it's easy to be wise like this. And for the other stuff, I was used, right? So this is just ANC. So these are good friends with Putin. They flew me to the Russia, expressed enormous support for the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Putin guaranteed them they will never get Ukraine back because if Russia will have to use it, will use the nuclear weapons. Will delete everybody. And I watched these blacks, they were completely absurd with this stuff. They were totally eaten by this Putin personality, this stuff. They had a reason, didn't they? They cooperated already for a very long time. When you were reading the news, about the apartheid, 10 years before that, blacks already took control throughout the South Africa entirely. Beginning in 1980, blacks already had a complete control in South Africa. What you were watching in beginning 1980 was actually ridiculing of something that no longer even existed in front of an international audience to gain more and more sympathies. South African apartheid was just a fucking skeleton without any chance to keep it up. With international attention that South Africa, as you refer to, black extermination program, gained enormous support. Chinese, Russians, and Indians. What is the most fascinating part is that Chinese and Indians are going to take over what used to be once white portion of the population in South Africa. They're working hard on it, and they don't even classify, when it comes to mixed marriages, they don't classify themselves as Indian or Chinese, whatever. They just write down black, whatever. After the coup d'etat is another coup d'etat, and it's going to be like this too. They're going to kick your ass out. And they're doing this economically, taking over from underneath. They're eating you out. Your own statehood. But is there such a thing like a white genocide? Well, I mean, I think it is. There is only 7.5% of the population that is white population in South Africa. That's all there is to it. That's not a lot of people. If you look at the graph of how much the white population decreased in comparison to the black population, and that actually is the proof of the white genocide, enormously. The reality is here. This is the reality. Between the 80s and 90s, the population more than doubled of South Africa. White population somewhere remains the same, but the black population doubled, at least. These numbers that you see rising here, these numbers that you see, this is mostly black population. This is no white population. And so because you're black and you increase yourself in a population, you explode the population so much. That doesn't mean that this was not a white country before. Unless the white people are so fucking stupid, they're going to give it away for you for free. You wanted the proof about the white genocide. This is a proof about the white genocide. I keep listening to the proofs about the white genocide. The way things are for the whites in South Africa. As well as mine, you all immigrate to United States of America or to the Germany. Whatever the fuck you came from. I don't know, France, Italy, whatever. Go. Britain. Who the fuck Britain, eh? You're more busy with other stuff. Like you're clusterfuckering, let's say, in a Britain already, about your identity. You have all those anti-racial laws with the British Royals that are making sure that there is a great equality and that you can be useful in a war, in a genocide against the Palestinian people, against the Lebanese people. After burning already Syria and starting the war in Egypt, Libya, throughout the entire Middle East, the United States of America doesn't have no fucking reputation these days, I tell you that. They weren't out there to support whites in South Africa. But they don't have any kind of reputation themselves these days. They suck. We got two first American war criminals as a presidents. With one as Democrat, that's Joe Biden, and the second one, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who made an agreement with the ANC in respect to my case. Joe Biden, who was in the bed with the ANC all along. Also against me, together with Obama, with Bill Clinton. My situation, how it is, my situation is such that I was told by the Chinese Communist Party, by the Xi Jinping, by the Indian Narendra Modi Prime Minister, by the Indian politicians, death threatened by the Russians, by the Putin, and guaranteed death by Alexander Vucic, by the Serbs, if I ever would touch the subject of South Africa. At this time, the war is not only on Ukraine, the war at this point right now is running against the South African white people. And I had a fun watching this shit because you fucked me. You fucked me so tremendously that I had to escape from Slovenia in 2017 and again in 2018 after putting up a good fight for you whites over there in South Africa. I even had people in Budapest, your own people, and you wouldn't fucking help me out with it. Threatened, paranoid with totally insane shit, bat crazy shit. And finally we can see basically the reality, the evidence that I supported all along through MK Ultra whenever we were meeting inside of our house here in the Novo Mesto. I was telling you that this is the way it's going to be. You went on, it's going to be Donald Trump. Yeah, I voted for Donald Trump. I supported presidency to Donald Trump. I was his super supporter in 2016, 2017. The animal got elected. Then I had to make that second run. I had to run to Poland. In 2017, I ran to the Belarus. Donald Trump was laughing at me. Well, he got fucking elected. He was laughing at me again. You with his Russian friends here in our house. He had a good time. He wanted to fucking whack me. And you went on and voted for him for the second time. You did not even impeach him the first time. Somebody like myself, are you fucking serious? I was a black slave when I was born. I walked entire Africa back and forth 1,000 times. Villages, not cities. And you went on and do this shit to me. That's amazing. And you didn't do it the first time when I came to United States of America. You fucked me too. Before I came to United States of America, I'll give you a little bit to read here. I'm not done with this stuff. I'm going to make more video. I want to be really, really precise about these things. I want to be really, really precise about it. But the stuff that I talk right now in this video, but this is already the stuff that in the United States of America, you're already canceled, you're racist, you are blah, 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 blah. Everything you are except human, you are not. And it is like this because you took for granted everything that's happening. And even more, it is like this because you fuck people like myself. And finally, you're left with nobody else to fuck. Because to betray is one thing, but to help somebody, that's totally different thing. Misery loves company. And that's this famous Donald Trump's movement in the United States of America that brought you nothing other but a problem, pain, suffering. decimation in South Africa. They're fucking decimating you. They're fucking killing you through Donald Trump's presidency. And all that does, that Russian cuckold that you have in the White House, is actually allows you exactly what he stated he would do. That's what he told me he's going to do. He's going to open pipe a little bit to let few of you escape to America. But you're not going to do anything anyways. You deserved it. You really, really deserved it. Because you abandoned. It doesn't matter how small it was, but I am real. I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not a gangster. You abandoned that last thing that defended you. You continue to betray, and you continue to betray for 54 years. That's true. What you did with your trust can be seen right here, actually. This here. This is probably like a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful idea about what's going on. Your Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion. And then you have those Jews that you built, and you have Bezos, who was extremely, extremely against me. Bezos wanted to kill me. Sergei Mikhailovich, your beloved Jew, wanted to kill me. A whole bunch of them wanted to fucking kill me. But you recognized them. But you did not recognize me. Well, that's what corruption does. That's how it works. That's what it does. But it not necessarily makes your life any easier. Russians. The Russians are fucking decimating you. Today. Right now, they're decimating you. Just like they're decimating Ukraine. The house is on fire, and there is a Russian cuckold that is putting out gas, that is putting out this fire with more gasoline on it. So there will be less left for you. I saw the news today that it was a Joe Biden that started to lift himself up against Donald Trump. Well, let's put it this way. It's like this about the Joe Biden. Joe Biden promised me that if I'm going to start to do stuff that I do now, he won't be holding back. He's going to do everything possible to get me killed. He worked very hard on it to get me killed, Joe Biden. He did not abandon the hope to get me killed with Bill Clinton. But the man who is pretending to be a Republican, the man who is pretending to be a white, other than making inflammatory statements, stupid statements, the racially charged statements, did absolutely nothing for the white people. Not for those in Ukraine, not for those in South Africa. So this animal here apparently reactivated himself again. He is again on fire. And we're going to do what he arranged already with the Chinese, with the Indians, will never happen again. With the Russians, we're going to do another round. He did not win this. He reactivated himself. He didn't do enough. He wants to do more for America. Whatever that America might be. That's true. America gained the status of the global war criminal. But if it's for the Jews, it's all right. It's good. But if it would go for the use of the white people in South Africa to secure their statehood, their right to exist, that would be just fucked up, as it was with the Bill Clinton. He did not like any of that stuff with Joe Biden. Barack Obama, it makes no sense to mention him. South Africa is a genocide. White genocide will remain as a myth. It will remain as a myth. Just like my case is going to remain as a myth. For as long as we're going to have people like this that will be doing dance on a political stage. There's one person I have absolutely no mention at all, and he's tremendously deserved of this. And that's Prince Charles. Actually, these are British royals. I did not mention them much at all, but I did describe them. I described them really well, together with the Pollocks. The Croatian politician Milovanovic keeps hallucinating about the South African apartheid. Keeps using this language in his videos to remind me of MK Ultra. It's interesting because he was also one of the people who was threatening me. All these politicians, no, South Africa, don't touch them, no, only not South Africa. Because, I want to ask you why. I want to ask you why. I want the fucking answer from you. Because why exactly would that be? You don't want me to touch South Africa. Why? South Africa is openly engaging in diplomacy and more with Russia, and more with China, and more with India. So why? Why you don't want me? Because you don't want any troubles. You don't want to be exposed for the roles you played during MK Ultra. You don't want to be seen for what you are, not only for what you were. You're doing a transition in the easiest way, with the least efforts, with the least fraction, with the least resistance, I should say, possible. And you're doing it against the people that are willing to accept and live by the laws that exist nowhere other than on a paper. Those who can easily be handled through the laws that concern so-called anti-Semitism and all kinds of racial discrimination, all kinds of laws, despite the reality you witness to on a daily basis. You're accepting the totally unacceptable. You don't wonder, you're not going to wonder when they're going to screw you up and delete you in the same way like deleting whites today. They're deleting already whites in United States of America. And you want to be wise and you want to profit the world about what democracy is like, without actually touching the subject of my case, even touching one, daring to touch this topic, discuss one. You saw this through, see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing. Pretend like there is nothing, but really not pretend like there is nothing, because we continue to see Obama championing on a political stage, making himself completely visible, gaining the support from the Democrats. That's normal to you? A case like this and what you see is happening on the other side, without ever solving this, other than through Slovenian police, psychiatry, through the Russians basically. That's normal to you, the stuff like this. Oh well, in that case, you continue to do your politics the way you do it. And you're going to see where that's going to bring you, where that's going to bring you. The South Africa is about to fall. Ukraine got a very limited assistance, if you ask me. Russians are playing a big game together with the Chinese, with the Indians. You're not playing any fucking game. You have a Russian cuckold inside the White House that made few racially charged, inflammatory statements, and that's all the fuck there was. Dump little bombs over there on Iran and gave enormous support over to the Israel. American taxpayers arming the Israel, and even with American taxpayers, citizens traveling to the Israel to fight for the Israel. You lost your fucking mind. I just hope the European Union is not going to follow your steps. Western Europe shouldn't. I hope they're not going to follow your steps. Eventually I hope that somebody sees this video and start to understand what the fuck is going on here. Your politic is not counterproductive, it is a suicide. Plain suicide. Stop pretending that everything is okay. Travel around to this exotic location. I'm talking about the royals. I'm talking about the royals here, elites. Posing over there with the elephants, in a safari, taking pictures of the lions. Why don't you fucking go to see those white concentration camps they have in South Africa? Why don't you see some of those hungry white people? Completely fucked up, left behind, forgotten, left for dead. Why don't you get real? Because your words got nothing to do with reality. I'm not going to say you live in a dream world, but you're completely misleading about what's happening. And people pay this shit with lives. Yeah, there is more stuff and there'll be more stuff. I am going to be talking to you about I'm going to start pointing you the people that were directly involved in this. I did this shit here. Oh, the South African Afrikaners, white Afrikaners started to hallucinate already that the Russians are coming to the rescue. Russians are helping them out. So I laughed this shit. I laughed them because it makes no fucking sense. What sense does it make to talk to the people that are fucking crazy like this? They are fucking killing me. You have a white Afrikaner that you are fighting for, supporting Russians and Jews. That did me no favor. Your politics, the way you run your affairs, did me no favor, you got to admit. So, I took a pause, and I wanted you actually to see, I wanted you to taste this shit in your own skin. I want you to see what the fuck reality is, because I don't understand. I don't understand how you can be so corrupt, so criminally fucking crazy. I'm talking to white South Africans, to the Dutch, and to the British and to the Germans. How can you be so fucked up in your heads? Corrupt. Like this. You don't know me, you motherfuckers over there in Britain and in Germany. You motherfuckers don't remember me in Rhodesia. You don't remember me in South Africa. The only person who was on your side from Eastern Europe. You don't remember me that I walked in blood for you as a child, as a baby, as a teenager, as a grown-up man. You don't remember that, motherfuckers. You need different kind of proofs. You need to fucking kill me to be okay with you. You took their word against mine after everything they have done to you. You deserve it to get fucked. You deserve to get fucked. You are setting yourself for a fucking cleansing complete. And the fact of the matter is that at least half of the South Africa belongs to you, to the whites. According to your race, according to your ethnicity, according to your history, according to this graph here that you see, Statista here. And you're giving it away, you're fucking throwing it away. You're losing it in Ukraine, you're losing it in South Africa, you're fucking losing it everywhere. That's a reality for you. This is what I promised you. I am gonna scroll down. I will scroll down. You may want to use a pause button, and you may want to read this. This is the end of the video. I don't have anything else I would say. Use a pause button as I scroll down. I have actually fucking people. I actually have people. Names of the people from Slovenia. You took millions of proofs from 2 of our homes here in Novo Mesto. Back to the US, back to Britain, to Germany, to Italy, to France, Canada, Australia. And what the fuck have you done with those? What good was it? You already got yourself your Nelson Mandela, the white one. His name is Elon Musk. I hope his $1 trillion is going to help you out. I was going to say, for the end of the video, I'm going to say to you, I was going to say this to the black people in the US, in South Africa. I was going to say, respect comes in a form of mutual recognition, but I don't have nothing to talk to you about this shit anymore. You solicited from the whites, demanded from the whites implicated in my case to see me as good as dead, You solicit from the white people disgracefully to accept me as dead already. Demanded from them to comply with the genocide, with continuation of the genocide, if I would mention Not if I would mention, but if I would say anything bad against the black people, right? And you demand equality. You demand fairness. You complain about the human rights being violated. When in reality, you are involved in extermination against me since I was born. Completely other race, from other continent, totally disrespectful toward international treaties, agreements. Kill the whitey. So, what do you think? A myth or reality? This is a question, to be or not to be. The answer is inside of the White House, inside of the Congress. And those, as you know, do no fucking good. They have all forgotten what United States of America was built upon. They have all forgotten who built United States of America and upon which values United States of America was built.
It's been igniting quite the firestorm online. Once deemed a struggle chant, modern adaptations of it have kindled cries of white genocide. So why is this song so controversial? Well, it's mostly to do with its lyrics.
Kill the poor, the farmer.
That chant about killing the Boers, the descendants of Dutch settlers in South Africa, Dubulibunu, which translates to shoot the Boer, was born in the throes of apartheid-era South Africa in the early 90s.
Bullshit. Listen up, folks. Do you know what it's like to be in Slovenia? You don't grasp any of it. But I recall in front of Krka Pharmaceutical in 2000, where I was hijacked from United States of America by the CIA, by the FBI, delivered to the Novo Mesto, so that I could get some more information from Chinese, who, by the way, demanded from me to see myself already as a Chinese here in Slovenia. I know, this is a video that's supposed to be about South Africa. I am not lying to you. They demanded from me in front of the Krka Pharmaceutical entrance they threw me in the car. They had a Chinese delegation here in Slovenia and demanded from me to view China as not only as a superpower, but as the first power of the world. The country much stronger than the United States of America. I didn't even ask for any of this, but that's the way it was. Do you think that's healthy for you? Actually, do you think that watching this from the distance is just fine? It's just completely okay? Are you solving issues like this by simply not getting involved in something that, well, this is country that entered the European Union all through very late? It did enter one, I think in 2004 or whatever, they entered European Union. NATO, these are members of the NATO, they became members of the NATO, they fucking hate NATO more than anything in this world, but they are members of the NATO, and as a citizen of this country, I don't actually have the right to apply for political asylum in any Western European country. So do you think that this type of approach, no, Xi Jinping, who was sitting inside of the car with his Chinese delegation in 2000 from Krka Pharmaceutical, he insisted on what I stated here already for at least 5 years, that China is much stronger than the United States of America. Demanded from me to see this as, to see myself in China as a Chinese, basically. This is nice. This isn't bad. I like Chinese chicks. But I don't think this is the way to do it. Coming here, giving one death threats, hijacking one to China, and together with Slovenian communists, do the stuff that is unprecedented, bestial. In 2000, you can check on the immigration papers, American immigration papers. There were Chinese that handled the immigration paperwork. Hey, I was called all kinds of names on those immigration paperworks when you sent me their temporary residence, and then residence, and then green card. Finally ended applying for American citizenship to go actually through the Chinese immigration officers for so long till I actually had to send the lady to the motherfucker land and demand the immigration officer to assist me. In Miami, in a fucking Miami, at the immigration, at the U.S. immigration. Racism, blatant racism, right there in Miami, in United States of America. Several thousand kilometers away, I think 5,000 kilometers from here. That's normal to you? See a little bit what went on through immigration procedure when I applied for American citizenship in 2000. You're not setting the standards for... I don't understand you really, what's going on with you. But the stuff that you do, European countries should under no circumstances take for granted. Something as it would be like, let's say, normal. It's not fucking normal. It's not normal. Any part of this, no part of this shit that you enforced against me is normal. I have proven you beyond any doubts that I'm not crazy, that I remember the stuff you did. And the stuff that you did was not unethical, it was genocidal. There is no grounds to take this kind of sides, to continue with this type of... I don't understand what you're trying to prove, really. Self-destruction. This is all good. It's all nice. I understand, but when it comes to the multiculturalism, you have to have a laws. You have to respect laws. You have to respect what is written under a constitution. You can't be doing shit like this, defining the society based on special requests from certain groups. Even groups that used to be victims of the slavery in the past, victims of Holocaust, but that through the certain exceptions could maybe grant themselves the right to murder, racially murder people, through, of course, approval of other ethnicities, races, and so on. This is weird, really weird, and it shouldn't be accepted by any European country. I'm not going to say democracy because there are none out there, really. There is no such thing as democracy. Let's be honest. There is no such thing as democracy. Democracy is a fable. But this is exceeding any kind of craziness defined as dictatorship, as tyranny. I'm not going to say thanks for watching this video. I just want you to think about this stuff here, because this is where the whole thing went. And the further it goes, like I said, with the way it goes, and the whites are becoming lesser and lesser, smaller and smaller minority. I don't know what to tell you about this. Apartheid is stupid. Nazism is stupid. I do not believe I'm absolutely segregation. Segregation is a mental illness, absolute mental illness, but I do believe in separation. If things go this far, that the whole thing turns into the zoo, then you gotta do what you gotta do. Then you gotta take care of your statehood. Then you gotta take care of your input. Then you gotta take care of your investment in a certain society, in a country you're part of. Blacks were victims of racism, slavery, and I'm not disputing this. I'm not disputing this stuff. I'm really not disputing. I'm not disputing any of that stuff. That's not what I'm doing. They were brought to the United States of America as slaves in rather really through the sickening circumstances. Well, I saw that stuff. Really sick stuff. Horrible. But there is one thing. Without the war, without absolutely any war, they managed to conquest this entire territory here. Which isn't bad at all. And exists throughout here. And whatever's going on in Europe, that's a different story, but I understand in France there are already 3 million, and in Britain there are already I don't know how many. This isn't bad at all. This white slavery, after all, must not have been such a bad thing. Because some way, somehow, eventually it paid off. Without the whites, they would never get so many homelands. They would never ever spread themselves all over the place. Yet, these are the people that are simply not satisfied. They want it different. They have a very bad memories in the past. I agree with it. But you cannot live in the past. But then again, I'm not a babysitter. You did, and that's what it matters here. It's not about what you can or what you cannot. It's about what you have done and the consequences that I carried, that I suffered because of stated. You did it. You have already done that. It took 54 years of my life with exactly zero conscience from your side.
China already armed Belarus, Russia, and continues to arm. Belarus is located really deeply in Europe. Based on the stuff that you see right there, nothing good is coming up with all this requests on how for me to behave by the British Royals, by the Central Intelligence Aid, by Joe Biden directly. Nothing good here is coming out of all these requests. And the worst part about this whole thing is what I regard them as niggers on my blog, right? I regarded you as niggers. The best part about all this is what you have turned my newly liberated homeland in 91 Slovenia became independent into? You turned one into psychiatric hospital, into the psychiatric ward on open, through the local police acting as a torture facility, hospitals. That's what you niggers did. That's your contribution to this part of the world. You are engaging in war. I just don't know when the whitey is going to get about the stuff that goes on. You, together with the Jews, are engaging in a war. And I don't fucking get American whitey. I don't fucking get you. I don't get any of it. You don't understand. You're talking about it's going to be Third World War. You don't see it. Russians, Chinese, Indians, they already launched the World War III. 50 years ago, they launched the World War III across the Eastern Europe, across the Africa, Asia, and other continents, wherever they use me, including South America, Central America. You're talking about it's going to be war. The war goes under the table already. But you don't want to see it. You don't want to admit it. You're saying that this case what? That you don't know what MK is. You want to play hear nothing, see nothing, know nothing game with somebody like myself. You ran the politic through. For the last 50 years. I didn't go to South Africa. I didn't go to America to make the law over there. You came to me. You came to this home. You came to the previous home. And you were doing your stuff. You turned not Yugoslavia, but you turned not only Yugoslavia, you ruined my life, definitely. That's what the Serbs, Russians were using you. But you turned newly independent country, Slovenia, into a psychiatric hospital on open, on a prison on open. You niggers, you Black Lives Matters, you did it. Your Nelson Mandela did. It's expensive, hear nothing, see nothing, know nothing, from me to take you, to regard you as a people. What fucking people? Why the genocide? Is it a South Africa white genocide? Is it? You fucking tell me if it is. Can't breathe. Let's go down on our knees in front of you, right? Because you can't breathe, right? This is how Americans presented my case, talking about American whites, in 1995 as I came to the United States of America. Jews purchased them like bananas. I guess it's really hard to have job over there in the US, to find a job, employment, to pay bills. It's gotta be hard, because if you present yourself as the whites like this, and you present me, you injected me in this movie of yours. This was a welcome to United States of America. This is basically how they presented me to United States of America. Like this. This is the white culture. This is how far you got. No other race is doing this kind of stuff, but this is how you present yourself then.
Hey, Angelo, this is the guy that busted your friggin' nose?
Yeah, that's him.
No, Jackie Chan was involved in Mount Everest of torture against me, including in the United States of America. I was bestially tortured by the Indians, direct deputies of Narendra Modi, by the Chinese, direct deputies of the Xi Jinping and previous Chinese Communist Party presidents in the United States of America. in Australia. And I don't think that this is the way to go. Look at this movie. Look how they presented me. Look how they present themselves as whites. Look at it. They can do this shit. They can do this shit. And they can also do this shit. They can also do this shit I demonstrated you about the white genocide in South Africa. They can also write down it's a myth. They can do this kind of shit that you're about to see, and they can do this kind of shit. The two things they can do. And did it in my case. And did it in your case. This is what the whites are, presenting themselves as whites, like this.
Hey, Angelo, this is the guy that busted...
So this is who I was throughout my life. This is who I was. This was a welcome to United States of America. Watching my case, this is how I was, like this? Really? These actors, by the way, they were ashamed afterwards. That will never pay the damage done to me.
Your friggin' nose?
Yeah, that's it.
He knows.
I went like this with a gang on the single Chinese I did, or was it maybe 1 million Chinese that were involved in bestiality against me? Which way was it? Because I stood everywhere all by myself. Wherever the fuck I was.
Yo, shithead! You're gonna die!
Easy, Angelo. Not yet. Easy. Let's have some fun.